So in the previous video, at the very end, I mentioned how Kanye West is somehow connected to this back-to-back theme. He's been super connected to all kinds of events. He's connected to the Paris, France attacks. He even had a clothing line that looked like ISIS. And even way before the Paris attacks, he had that Pray for Paris shirt and all kinds of stuff. He's super connected to a lot of events. I'll leave a link to my playlist on Kanye West. He even sung the Queen song at Glastonbury, where everybody booed him and whatnot because they didn't even want him there to begin with. But he sung the Mama, I Just Killed a Man. It was the day after gay marriage was legalized. And Queen is the gay band. It also ties into Queen Elizabeth. It's the Freddie Mercury stuff. It was right after Freddie Gray had died. The Freddie Gray stuff was still going on. Lots of 51 coded into this stuff. Kanye West equals 51. Taylor Swift equals 51. Freddie equals 51. Gray equals 51. I'll get to that later, but just want to point it out, that he's super connected. There's lots of stuff with the number 139 with him. Clear back when he got up on stage in the VMAs, it was on September 13th, which is 13/9. He said Beyonce had the greatest album ever, blah, blah, blah. He also did the same thing to Beck in 2015. Beck had the greatest album or something. Can't remember it all. Go back and watch my videos. There's a lot of 139. The album added up to 139. It was 139 days before he sung at Glastonbury. 139 days after he sung at Glastonbury was the Paris attacks, which he was connected to. He was also on South Park. Fish sticks equals 51. Anyway, he remade this Drake song, but also somebody had pointed out to me that Drake has a song called Back to Back. If I can find it here. So Drake has a song called Back to Back. In the NBA this year, ever since the All-Star Week, I have noticed a huge back-to-back theme. Every game that I've ever watched since, they mention back-to-back multiple times, Steph Curry's going to win back-to-back MVPs. Kawhi Leonard just won back-to-back Defensive Player of the Year. They mention all kinds of stuff. Back-to-back three-pointers, back-to-back turnovers, back-to-back this. They say back-to-back all over. If you just listen, they say back-to-back constantly in all of these NBA games. What's interesting about that is that Drake has that song called Back-to-Back, and the NBA All-Star Week was in Toronto this year, where Drake is from. Drake represents Toronto. In the All-Star game, or the week, Zach LaVine won back-to-back slam dunk contests. Russell Westbrook won back-to-back All-Star Game MVPs. I also mentioned this game in regards to the Cleveland Cavaliers being connected to the 923 stuff with Pope Francis. Cleveland Cavaliers became 23-9 on January 4th. It was the same day that Elton Brand came out of retirement and went back to the Philadelphia 76ers. If you don't understand what I'm saying, you have to go back and watch some of my previous videos. I'll leave a link to my blog so you can go back in history and view what I'm talking about. They even had a total score of 222 that ties into Amtrak. The last year's championship was completely coded to the Philadelphia Amtrak derailment that happened at 9:23 p.m. LeBron James was on the movie Trainwreck 66 days later. LeBron James equals 923 in Jewish gematria. Pope Francis came to the United States on his 923rd day as Pope. Went to the White House at 923 on 923. There's just been a lot of super significant coded numbers. September 23rd can even be written as 23/9. That's why this 23/9 is important. We're also in the 239th year of the United States. Pope Francis in Gematria even equals 122, just like Golden State, just like San Antonio. So, something to think about. But, moral of the story, Cleveland Cavaliers played Toronto Raptors on that day, where Drake is from, the whole back-to-back theme. So it just sticks out to me. This song also supposedly is about the back-to-back championships that the Toronto Blue Jays won, and the second one was against Philadelphia in 1993. And he made it as a diss to Meek Mills or something like that. I don't know. I don't keep up on all this crappy rap people stuff, but yeah, Meek Mills. So he did it as a diss to Meek Mills, who's from Philadelphia, but all year I've been talking about how everything goes back to Philadelphia. Pope Francis ended his trip in the United States in Philadelphia. He gave a speech on Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address lectern, all kinds of stuff. But moral of the story, Toronto Blue Jays equals 59, just like Pope Francis the small way. So then, the reason all of this comes back up is because in a lot of these commercials during the NBA playoffs game, we're getting this commercial here, this Apple commercial, with Taylor Swift running on the treadmill, singing the Jumpman song. And it sticks out to me because Kanye West remade this song on New Year's Eve as a diss to Michael Jordan's shoes, basically, or it was a diss to Nike, but he says, like, Yeezy jumped over Jumpman, and he's talking about Michael Jordan's shoes. Michael Jordan's son even tweeted a picture of Michael Jordan laughing and whatnot. But Taylor Swift is running on the treadmill and then falls down. Anyway, this song Jumpman was originally by Drake and Future, and it came out on November 10th of 2015, the day that leaves 51 days left until the end of the year. Kanye West remade it 51 days later on New Year's Eve. We talked about the Cleveland Cavaliers being especially coded to 51 and whatnot. Cleveland equals 51. LeBron James equals 51. Cleveland Cavs equals 51. They play in Quicken Loans Arena. Quicken Loans equals 51. Cleveland hasn't won a sports championship in 51 years. So I don't know. It just makes me wonder. This video of Taylor Swift doing this, also a minute one long. Philadelphia equals 101 the big way. Taylor Swift, even super famous, has the album 1989. Lots of 89. King James equals 89. Queen Elizabeth was born in 1989, or Queen Elizabeth is 89 years old this year. The train wreck in Chester, Pennsylvania this year was train number 89. There's lots of 89 coding. Anyway, Queen Elizabeth equals 168. Just like Taylor Swift. Just like Beyonce Knowles. Just like Cleveland Cavaliers. And I've talked about the significance behind that because a Cavalier is a follower of King Charles in the English Civil War. King Charles was executed in the year 1649, though, and then the English Civil War ended in the year 1651, and his son, who went on to be King Charles II later, was actually banished. So, interesting. This commercial was also an Apple commercial. Apple equals 146. Lots of 146 around Philadelphia. I've even talked about June 14th. June 14th this year is Pope Francis's 1,189th day as Pope. Like the King James Bible that has 1,189 chapters. That's also Donald Trump's 70th birthday. It's the 70th season of the NBA. Allen Iverson equals 146. Larry Brown equals 146. Also, since she falls off the treadmill, it makes me wonder about the Cleveland Cavaliers winning. You know, they're super coded to this 51, but this 51 is coded to lots of other events that I think are going to take place within this year in regards to Obama and Donald Trump, even the Queen, Pope Francis. There's lots of 51, and it all involves death. Antonin Scalia died on the 44th day. That had 51 numerology. Antonin Scalia equals 51. But she falls off the treadmill, has the same gematria as Cleveland Cavaliers. She does get up and then finish the song, but she does fall. So it just makes me wonder. So Kanye West equals 51 in gematria. Taylor Swift equals 51 in gematria. Kanye West even equals 1551 in Jewish gematria. Just stands out a lot. Pope Francis turned 15 years old in 1951. Donald Trump is exactly 15 years, 51 days older than Obama. When Kobe Bryant beat the Warriors this year, it was his 1,551st game. Remember, he started his 1,189th game on Easter Sunday. Kanye also sung the Queen, whatever, the gay band. He sung that song at Glastonbury, saying, "Mama, I just killed a man," put a trigger to his head, and now he's dead. A lot like they're going to kill somebody. It was on 6/27, but it's also 6/26 in the United States because it was in England or whatever, the UK. That was the day that gay marriage was legalized. Obama sang Amazing Grace at Clementa Pinckney's funeral. It was 9 days after 9 people got shot. Queen Elizabeth became the longest reigning English monarch of all time on 9/9 this year. The day Obama did this, or 6/26 to 4/4, a day that the 9th president and the first president ever to die in office died, was on 4/4, but it's a span of 9 months and 9 days. Abraham Lincoln got shot, died 9 hours and 9 minutes later. There's lots of 99 coding. September 23rd, a day with 99 days left until the end of the year. It's also the first day of fall. The only reason that Kanye West played at Glastonbury was because Dave Grohl fell off the stage and supposedly broke his leg. There was a whole bunch of other falling stories, especially in the month of August. There was all kinds of stuff. Can't even remember. A famous actor fell off a building. There was the drone that fell into the tennis game or whatever. So just recently we got this Kanye West mic being turned off. And I'm not exactly sure of what the significance is, but Coachella equals 60. We just had Kobe Bryant scoring 60 points in his final game. I talked about 60 a whole lot in regards to last year and how it was connected to the 55 because 1960 was 55 years ago. Well, this year 1960 is 56 years ago. Kanye equals 56. He's married to Kim Kardashian. The equals 56. His daughter is Nori, or they call her Nori. Nori equals 56. Paris, France equals 56. ISIS equals 56. Abraham Lincoln died at the age of 56. Osama bin Laden, Adolf Hitler, Saddam Hussein all equal 56. 56, a super significant number. Also, I just did Mike turned off in Gematria because his mic got turned off. Equals 134, a number I've been recently talking about in regards to the Amtrak derailments and also the film Money Monster that's going to come out on the 134th day of the year. The only highlighted word in this article is booze. Booze equals 51, just like Kanye West. Remember how in Glastonbury he said he was the greatest living rock star? Rock star equals 51. I mean, pretty ridiculous because he's a rapper, not a rock star. He even said he was going to run for president, In 2020 at the VMAs this year, he would be 44 years old, which connects to Obama. It also connects to Donald Trump, who is running to be the 44th president, or the 44th person to be the president. Obama is the 44th president, the 43rd person to be the president. Anyway, shortly after the Paris attacks, we also got the story of Kanye West and Kim's new baby, and everybody wondered what its name was going to be. They thought it might be like Southwest because they already had Nori and Northwest or whatever. And anyway, they ended up naming the baby Saint West. It's just whatever. I don't know how I never put this together before, but it's Saint West. The baby was born on 12/5/15, which is the same day that the Phi Beta Kappa celebrated its 239th anniversary. Skull and Bones was formed out of an argument between Phi Beta Kappa and whatnot. But Saint West reminds me a lot of the Will Smith death that we just got. That's connected to Philadelphia once again. Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. That's the actor, but that's what they want you to think. And Will Smith was the St. Louis or the New Orleans Saint who died. And the reason that I know it's connected is because Kanye West got really big in the news after Hurricane Katrina when he said that George Bush doesn't care about black people. George Bush doesn't care about black people in Gematria equals 152. Just like Easter Sunday, just like Pennsylvania, just like the word 79. Pope Francis is 79 years old this year. LeBron James's full name, LeBron Ramon James, equals 79. There's lots of 79 coded in this year. Also, Kanye West was like all about Bill Cosby being innocent forever. Bill Cosby's innocent. Bill Cosby, of course, from Philadelphia, right? But then Kanye West also dissed him in his song that talked about Michael Jordan and Yeezy Jumped Over Jumpman, the one that I'm talking about that he remade. Another reason that I know that Saint West is completely coded to Will Smith and the death of Will Smith the Saint. Saint West was born 4 months and 4 days before Will Smith died. Will Smith in Gematria equals 44. I mean, come on, what are the odds of that? Saint West born 4 months, 4 days before. And then the famous Saint player. You also think of Philadelphia, all kinds of stuff with Will Smith. 4 months and 4 days after that equals 44. Craziness. In regards to Will Smith, I know there's a lot I could cover, but I've mentioned a whole lot about the judge theme recently, Antonin Scalia dying and whatnot. And 99 days before that, we had the Texas judge that was shot outside her home, Julie Kokorek or something. Her name added up to 51. Antonin Scalia's name added up to 51, just like Kanye West, just like Taylor Swift. Anyway, this Will Smith guy, they totally want you to think of Will Smith and the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. You know, he was from West Philadelphia, born and raised, and then moved to Bel-Air, California to live with his judge uncle. West Philadelphia equals 168, just like Queen Elizabeth, just like Cleveland Cavaliers. I also had a video about Wilt Chamberlain actually being the real Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Him and Will Smith actually went to the same high school even. They're both from Philadelphia. This guy died in Bel-Air, California, but he was from Philadelphia. Wilt Chamberlain equals 69 in Gematria. Cleveland Cavaliers, the small way, equals 69. Belgium equals 69. Also back-to-back. This back-to-back theme that I keep talking about. Back-to-back equals 69. There's just been a lot of 69 death. In the last video I talked about how it's connected to Cancer. The astrological symbol for Cancer is Looks like a lot like a 69. Obama said he's going to start fighting cancer or whatever in his State of the Union. And then all these people start dying at the age of 69 from cancer, like David Bowie and whatnot. Anyway, and Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game, it came 6 months and 9 days after his birthday. He scored 100 points. The rest of the team scored 69 points. Will Smith, the footballer, even died on the 100th day of the year. Wilt Chamberlain scores 100 points in the game. Before I even move on, I want to show you some stuff about Beyonce. She was just in the news too, right? And Beyonce was the one who had the greatest album ever, and Kanye West got up on the stage. Beyonce releases this teaser, Lemonade, coming to HBO. She puts hashtag Lemonade with the date 4/23. Beyonce equals 69 and 33, just like Lemonade. Lemonade, how they highlight Lemonade. That's why they do that. Because of gematria. I mean, it's stupid that people don't believe that. Why would they highlight Lemonade with a Beyonce story? Lemonade equals the same as Beyonce. Also, this article came out on April 16th, the 107th day of the year. But the last big story about Beyonce was the Super Bowl, where she formed the X. I talked about the X theme. Even the TV show X-Files made a comeback on the 24th day of the year. X equals 24. The Super Bowl was 24-10. 24 equals X. X in Roman numerals is 10. Beyonce formed the X on the field. It was all about the Black Panthers. Malcolm equals 24. X equals 24. His last name was Little. Little equals 24. Lots of 24 coding. But anyway, it was 69 days after the Super Bowl that this article comes out about her and Lemonade. 69 days after she teases Lemonade, and her name even equals 69, and Lemonade equals 69. If you write out Lemonade on HBO, it equals 60, just like HBO in Jewish gematria equals 60. They even mentioned how people thought this was going to happen on April 4th because of the number 4 has significance to her at Jay-Z. 4 in gematria equals 60. Beyonce knows the big way, 168, just like Taylor Swift, just like Queen Elizabeth, just like Cleveland Cavaliers. This video teaser that she puts out, it comes out on April 16th, which can be written as 16/4. In it, she says, "What am I going to do, love? What am I going to do?" That equals 164 in gematria. Also, what am I going to do, love? Because she pauses, what am I going to do, love? What am I going to do? What am I going to do, love equals 2016 in Jewish gematria, a lot like this year, so who knows? April 23rd, the day that she puts the hashtag to, April 23rd equals 222 and 222, just like Amtrak. This 87 also super connected to Pope Francis and the number 219 in regards to back-to-back championships. The 219th day of the year is August 7th, 8/7. Also, 4/23 is the 114th day this year. LeBron James, the big way, equals 114. Remember, he shot 9 of 23 on 11/4, November 4th. A lot like his name. Anyway, let's move on here. The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air equals 222 in gematria, just like Amtrak. Wilt Chamberlain also was exactly 118 days older than Pope Francis. Just sticks out to me because of the fact of the whole Cleveland Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors thing. I've talked about on January 18th, Cleveland lost by 34 points, 34 days after LeBron was 9 of 23. LeBron shot 9 of 23 again on 2/5, which is 108 days before the NBA, 118 days before the NBA Finals. If he loses the finals this year, he'll be 2-5 in the NBA finals, a lot like the day that he shot 9 of 23 the second time. If he wins, he'll be 3-4, a lot like the 34 points that they lost by 34 games after he shot 9 of 23. Anyway, in regards to the judge theme, Uncle Phil here, he was the judge on the TV show. And I've wondered this forever because his death was very strange to me. It was before I even knew Gematria. But originally they said he died at age 64, then it was 68. It was all over the place. Nobody knew what was going on. It was right after Paul Walker had died. He was born on 11/27. That was the same day that the celebrity death hoax did Paul Walker and whatnot. Anyway, Uncle Phil here in real life, he dies 2 years, 3 months, 9 days before Will Smith, the football player, dies. A lot like 239. We're in the 239th year of the United States. Yada, yada, yada. Uncle Phil in Gematria equals 100. This guy died on the 100th day of the year. On the show, they even talk about how Uncle Phil, some of his main things about him was that he was born in North Carolina. He loved Ronald Reagan and even got to see Malcolm X speak. I mean, how fitting to this year. All of the sports teams and whatnot losing from North Carolina. Ronald Reagan's wife dies. Ronald Reagan even got an assassination attempt in 1989. And then Malcolm X, all the Black Panther stuff, especially regards to the Super Bowl. Anyway, 2 days after Will Smith, the football player, dies, we get the death of Doug Banks, a Philadelphia native, a guy from Philadelphia. He supposedly died from diabetes. Diabetes equals 65, just like Philadelphia the small way. But I can't help but think about Carlton Banks and, Will Smith. He leaves West Philadelphia to move in with his relatives, the Banks family, Philip Banks, Carlton Banks, Ashley Banks, whatever. Just interesting. This guy dies just days after. His name in Jewish Gematria even equals 404, just like Prince Charles, just like Pope Francis. Philadelphia comes from the Book of Revelation. The King James Bible came out 404 years ago until 5/2 this year. Revelation has 404 verses in it. The actor Will Smith received a Lifetime Achievement Award the same day that the football player Will Smith died. I mean, Will Smith, the football player's dad, was involved in a police shooting right after Hurricane Katrina. There's a lot more to this than I have written in here, but anyway, the actor Will Smith that they want you to think about, he was in this movie called Focus, where they pretty much tell you exactly how they subliminally code numbers into your brain and whatnot, just like they do in the media, just like they do in these sports leagues and whatnot. And I'm not going to explain the whole synopsis, but in the very beginning, he makes these crazy bets because he programmed this guy about the number 55. But the game takes place in New Orleans. That's where Will Smith played and whatnot. Also, he's in the movie Concussion. Or I guess in this movie Focus, also the next time that he starts betting, he goes to Buenos Aires. That's where Pope Francis is from. I mean, what are the odds of that? But anyway, he's in the movie Concussion as well. That's about football. He's also in this movie Suicide Squad, which just sticks out. Suicide Squad. On the cover, they have the XX. Talked about the Super Bowl being coded to the 85 Bears. Suicide Squad even equals 51 in Gematria, believe it or not. The XX too, Super Bowl 20 was Super Bowl XX. But back to Kanye West here. So Kanye West drops his new album, says he's $53 million in debt. It was on the first day of Lupercalia, the day that Antonin Scalia died, 51, date numerology of 51. He drops his new album, The Life of Pablo, on Valentine's Day. And he releases this album supposedly because he's broke. Remember we just had the whole 50 Cent stuff about him being broke as well? The reason why is because the word broke equals 51. You know? Crazy. Broke the small way even equals 24. That goes along with the X theme that I'm talking about. Anyway, so Kanye West was trying to get Mark Zuckerberg from Facebook to get into his ideas and whatnot. Just look at this here, though. The life of Pablo equals 69 and 132. Mark Zuckerberg equals 69 and 168. Taylor Swift 168. Queen Elizabeth 168. Cleveland Cavaliers 168. And 69, identical gematria to Mark Zuckerberg. Back to back equals 69. Beyonce Knowles equals 69 and 168. I mean, there's something about these stories with Beyonce and Kanye and Taylor Swift. So whatever, I'm going to leave it at that. I'll leave some links to my Kanye West playlist and whatnot. There's a whole lot more to it. I know that he's connected to these 51s, though. There's just so many 51s that have been going around. I just don't think it's a good thing for the Cavaliers. But who knows? Maybe it is a great thing for the Cavaliers. Maybe it means they're going to kill everybody else. I don't know. But whatever. Have a good one.